Welcome to Words Unplugged. This is our video series where we dive into some of our thought leadership blogs published on the WSO2 library. I'm Steve Jordan, and I work as the Associate Director of Marketing for Integration here at WSO2. Today, we're diving into the topic of the role of integration in the Agentic enterprise. To help us unpack this, I'm joined by my colleague, Shafreen, who authored a great piece about this topic. Shafreen, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here, Steve.
Before we jump in, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do at WSO2?
Of course, okay, let me start like this. So I've been working for WSO2 for 13 years now. So for the first part of my career, I was working with the WSO2 ESBT for 5 years. And then I started working with the WSO2 Ballerina team, which was our answer to next generation integration problems. And then, of course, for the, that was for another 5 years. And then for the last 3 years or so, I've been leading the integration BU's AI team. So that's about me.
Great. Thanks for the background, Shafreen. Let's start with the basics. What is the Agentic enterprise and why is it such a big deal in the business world right now?
Okay, so if you look at the traditional enterprise, it was all about, humans. But now with the advancement of LLMs, so now you can actually have agents working side by side with humans and actually doing useful things. For instance, now you can have agents that can, go through all the customer queries and answer relevant can answer the relevant questions. So if you really look at it, these agents are, quite intelligent. In early days, agents are very, narrow and brittle, I would say. But the new agents, the present agents are quite, adaptable. They can, work on a broader scope and they can make, intelligent decisions as they work on the problem. So I see enterprise where, humans as well as agents working together to achieve a common goal. So these agents actually, just like humans, we can give them an identity, we can give the right context, and then we can give the, right permissions and skills so that they can achieve useful things in a business. So the new agentic enterprise or the workforce is sort of a workforce that is always on, in which humans and agents work together. And the interesting thing is, now you can let the agents do the repetitive, boring task, I would say, and then let the humans do the more interesting, innovative stuff. So that's how I see the agentic enterprise.
Your blog makes a great point about integration being the backbone of the Agentic enterprise. Shafreen, can you break that down for us a little bit? Why is integration so critical, do you think?
Yes, that's true. So I feel I feel integration plays a key role in agentic enterprise. So in fact, I believe that integration is the circulatory system of an agentic enterprise. The main reason is if you take agents, they are agents on its own are quite intelligent, but without the right context, they can't make the right decisions. That applies for us as well. For instance, if you take some engineer, so if the engineer doesn't have the right context, that particular engineer can't do informed decisions. So that applies for agents as well. So how do you bring context into agents? You have to do integration. So you have to connect to different systems, different processes, different data points, and bringing the right context into agents so that agents can do informed decisions. So for instance, if I give some examples, if you take employee onboarding agent, one of the examples. So you have to connect the HR system and perhaps the IT system. And if you have some system where you give the relevant policies, that system itself as well. So now you have to bring in those different systems into one place for you to enable something like a HR agent. And of course, we have some first-hand experience writing agents as well. For instance, we worked on an agent for diagnosing issues and providing the solutions for those issues. So in that particular scenario, so we were connecting to a system in order to get the query or the issue related to that particular event, and then agent goes through this event, goes through the details of the issue, and then it figures out what needs to be done. So as the resolution, in order to figure out the resolution, then it connects to some other knowledge base. So this knowledge base consists all the uh, things like how to figure out the issue given the context, and then what is the resolution you need to take. So something similar to like a run book. So this agent connects to the system where you have the information related to runbook. It, you know, gets the relevant information from that particular system, figures out the now agent has the problem and the approach it needs to take to figure out the solution. And then in order to take the necessary actions in order to resolve that particular issue, it has to connect to some other system. For instance, if the custom issue is saying, I can't log in, I tried several times, but I can't log into system, it could be because you tried several times and now the account is blocked. So now, of course, since agent is connected to different systems, it can first understand the problem, figure out the solution, and take necessary actions. All these are enabled because integration in place. So that's why we believe the quality of the agent directly depends on the quality of the integration you do.
Great. So context is very important. Integration can help provide that context in multiple ways. Great. A lot of companies seem to get stuck when it comes to scaling AI. What's holding them back, and how does integration help solve those problems?
All right. So if you look at current state, as you mentioned, like a lot of companies are sort of struggling to go from their pilot project to production. So one of the reasons I would say is like fragmented systems, like they have like siloed, data silos and workflows, cornered into one place. So without the right integration, without bringing them into one context, both data as well as workflows, it is not possible to write the agents that are useful. So that's where integration plays a key role. In addition to that, integration can play a big role because they've been doing integration for, even though like this, agentic integration is quite new, connecting to different system has been there for a long time. So we've been writing different set of connectors. Like we have in WSO2, we have like 1,000 odd connectors. So these connectors are now available as tools to agents, so that when you write agents, you can give the right context to these agents. So connectivity plays a big role there. And then, of course, not only agents itself, like when you write agents, you might want to write, things like MCP servers, and you might want to connect to different existing MCP servers. You might want to, convert your existing REST APIs into MCP servers. So likewise, there are supporting systems that you have to bring in as well. So in that aspect also, integration can play a key role. So apart from that, you know, a good integration platform should, have things like, observability and security baked into their products, so that, when you go from pilot project to, production, you have all the bits and pieces in place so that you can easily move from your pilot project to something production ready.
Well, great. Let's kind of continue on that thread. Talk a little bit about integration platforms for a second. What do you need to do differently? What do they need to do differently, rather, to support this new wave of AI-driven systems? We started going into that a little bit. Maybe just continue that thought.
Yes, let's continue like that. So how I see it, like agents enable a new class of integration. So now we can actually take some fuzzy input, do some fuzzy transformation, and give some fuzzy output. So that's why you see a lot of chatbots out there. So so this integration also requires a lot of these agents to be. I should say these agents also requires a lot of integration. So at the core of it, what we see is integration playing a key role in this new class of integration as well. So as integration products, or as people who develop integration products, how we see is this see is this as an extension for existing integration. So focus we would want to let integration engineers focus on the integration problem itself, and we who are building the tools can focus on building the right abstraction so that integration engineers can quickly put something together and do the integration then and there, so that they can directly focus on the integration problem and the business problem, whereas integration products provide the right abstractions to enable them to do these integrations.
Great. Thanks for expanding on that. One thing that really stood out in your blog to me was the focus on trust and governance. And why is that so important? And how can companies make sure that they're building AI systems that people can rely on?
Okay, so one of the reasons I would say, like, these are like non-deterministic systems. So, you need to have definitely some visibility into what's going on once you deploy. So that is one thing. And then the other thing is like, because of this non-deterministic nature, you want to have the right guardrails in place so that, in case your agent goes, off track, you can, bring them back and put on the right track. So things like that, plays a key role. And then, of course, these agents should be controllable as well. Like, as in, if you see something that goes wrong, perhaps maybe you have a kill button like thing to, stop the agent and, put it back on track. Likewise, there are a lot of things we need to consider. So the other thing is like explainability, as in like if you have an agent in production, you need to be able to explain what it does. Like you need to have right logs and everything so that you can see your agents and see what they are doing behind the scenes. So likewise, there are like several things that needs to be in place to get this thing right.
Great. Finally, let's bring it back to WSO2. How are we helping organizations build their own agentic enterprises?
All right, so I think WSO2 is uniquely positioned to do this, mainly because WSO2 doesn't just focus on one aspect. Instead, WSO2 actually focus on the entire set of aspects that are needed to take the agents from pilot to production. Like for instance, like first of all, starting with writing agents, like you should be able to write agents. So there, like we have the product to write agents, which we call WSO2 integrator, where you can actually build the agent. And then of course it has the iPaaS version where you can actually run your agents. So when you run, it has all the built-in stuff like observability and uh, controllability of your agents, so that you have uh, control over what you build and run. And then we have API manage aspect of agents. Like for instance, now when you right? Usually agents have to connect to some other LLM, so you need a AI gateway to govern and control what's happening between the agent and the LLM. So we have like AI gateways to do that. And then, of course, agent identity. Like, you might be having an agent, but you don't know what is the scope, what is the identity, how to validate what this agent is doing. So every agent usually should have some identity. As I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, like, now you see agents working with humans side by side. So just like humans, agents also should have some identity and then the right scope of authorization so that, they can do what they want to do within the given boundaries. Not only that, and then the next interesting thing is like, now, if you look at agentic enterprises, you could see that, you would be writing so many agents. So now you need a way to, manage all these agents, and you need to know like which agent is doing what, which agent is communicating to which agent. So, and then the right level of evaluation so that, you can see what is happening during the runtime as well. So for all those things, we have something called, we are actually working on some product called agent manager as well. So that's why I said that, WSO2 covers the entire spectrum, starting from agent building to deploying, securing, and then having a gateway to do the right governing, and finally to manage all your agents in one place as product code. There will be a product code agent manager as well.
Great. Shafreen, thanks so much for sharing your insights. For anyone who wants to dive deeper, we'll be linking the blog in the description. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Thanks. Thanks, Steve.